So why do you do psychedelics? As somebody asked me the other night, I was like, whoa, this person really wanted to know. But, on the other hand, too, it wasn't like, hey, you're, like this. It was kind of one of these looks, you do drugs. So I want to go and talk about that. Anyway, my name is Ken. Thank you for joining me on this channel. I want to raise the vibration, raise the frequency that's out there, and the consciousness. Kind of like a little bit what Ralph Smart says every time he talks, which is he's another person that I've listened to. As we go through the journey of waking up, we take these little stepping stones, and we listen to people, we read things, and it's all for our evolution. And that's what this is all about. This is why we're here. We're here to evolve. Totally 100%. All my experiences, everything that I've read, it all points in the same direction. We are here in this school, on this planet, to go through this process of graduating on our vibrational frequency of higher consciousness. This is why we're here. So that is why I got into doing psychedelics. Now, psychedelics, when I was younger, as a teenager, I was doing them back then, and I was doing them to get high. Yet, the underlying real reason that I do know, now that I go backwards into it, is I wanted to pierce this veil of reality that we're in. I wanted to see what's on the other side of the matrix. Now, the matrix is the matrix that we are living in on this 5-dimensional reality on this planet. This is where, the idea is to have 2.2 children, to eventually to go to school, get an education, get a good job, find a mate, reproduce, be in debt, credit cards, a car, a house. Now you're in the system. Now you're locked in because you got to also you're going to have children and you need to feed them, put them through school. And then eventually you're going to retire, enjoy your grandchildren, have travel time, and then die and leave a legacy, usually of financial, some sort of assets behind for those you love. So that's the matrix that's been designed for us. That's why they don't teach health, how to eat, how to love, how to care and share, how to grow your own food. They don't teach you any of that stuff in school, because that means that you would be independent and you don't need the system, and that you're raising your frequency and you're not down here where you can be controlled. So this is the veil I wanted to pierce, because all throughout my whole school, even in kindergarten, I never got into school. I didn't like it. It was an institution. Something told me to run, and I never did well in school. Even though I was smart, I had all the capacity to do whatever I wanted, but it just didn't jive with me, because I inherently knew deep down inside it's all a shit show. It's all to dumb us down and make us compliant worker bees. So I didn't get into it, and I bucked the system, and I was doing a fair amount of drugs back then to escape it, but it wasn't to escape because I was depressed or I was lonely or angry. It was so there was something else out there. I used to stare at the stars all the time and just go, okay, well, what is all this? Why am I here? What am I here to do? What is this? What is this? Meaning everything that is in my faculties, taste, touch, smell, sight, hearing. What is all this 3-dimensional reality that I'm in? Is there more? What's beyond this? What happens when you die? Where do you go? And always question, we're always popping up. So psychedelics was instrumental in that, because what it was like a stepping stone to exploring those other questions and the reality of this world. And so when I finally, I remember was a time that I started understanding what mindfulness was, and I got into meditation. And it all just started happening from that point forward, that I could quiet my mind and I could feel love and peace come up, and harmony, and then unity. And I could feel all of these feelings and emotions, and the realization that there's something bigger and more that I can connect to, all through the process of doing meditation. And then when I tried psychedelics, from knowing what I was learning through my meditation, it started doing massive shifts in my experience, in my life, in my perception of reality. Tremendously opened up my eyes. It was like going from here to here in a nanosecond. It was just massive jumps in my consciousness and my awareness. And I would say that in my experience of doing psychedelics, that my understanding of who I am started really becoming clear, and why I was here became really clear, and what all of this is about became very, very clear. Because when you're going through in psychedelics, and as an example, I'll just use my latest experience that I had with 5-MeO-DMT. What it is, your ego gets stripped away. Your ego is like the gatekeeper. It's the guy standing at the door who's not letting you go out. You're trapped. You're trapped in this thinking, in limited thinking, because your ego is always trying to manipulate. It's always trying to control, and it's incessantly busy with everything and nothing at the same time. And it's kind of like this out of control drunken lunatic that's sitting on your shoulder, trying to tell you all the time to turn left, right, slow down, speed up, look at this, don't look at that, da, 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 da. And it's just constantly shifting. It's busy. When you get into this states of consciousness, higher consciousness, all of that just stops. All of the chatter just goes away, and now you are left with just you being this divine creature, this divine, beautiful being that can now start connecting into its own energy field. Because when you start in the meditative process, as you go along, your frequency and your energy gets bigger, higher. And if you're very tuned in from a good practice of doing it, then you start vibrating at a higher level, and you will start now seeing things differently. You'll start feeling differently about your life. You'll start experiencing the reality that's around you much differently. So as an example, if you look at what's going on in the world right now, it's all fear that's being projected at us. Everything is watch the news, watch the mainstream. It's all about keeping you in fear. Fear is one of the lowest vibrations you can possibly get. So they're suppressing everybody as much as they can with as much fear as possible. They're also feeding us, generally the food system is poison, it's toxic. It's why you have to really be skillful in what you put in your mouth and skillful what you put in your mind, because it's all intended to bring you down. When we're down, we are completely controllable. We're in that fight or flight mode, that we will give up everything just for some security. And that is what they know. And this is science. This has been proved throughout in all sorts of studies and all sorts of research. And it's scientific fact. There's no guesswork around this. So for us, how do we make ourselves beyond that fear, to give us our freedom, to give us our independence, to give us our strength, to give us our courage, give us that understanding that we are infinite beings, that we cannot be snuffed out. We are eternal. We just keep going. We'll lose this meat suit at some point in time in our life. That's okay, because the fear of death is no longer in your consciousness because you understand that you're beyond that. And it's an amazing feeling to go through, to understand that, to let go of death, to let go of the ego. And many people have done this on this three-dimensional plane, the sages and these swamis and gurus, and we read about them, we know who they are. There's a lot of people that we don't know who they are. They've just evolved to that point, and this is my goal. My goal is to go into, while I'm on this physical plane, is to become enlightened, or to, maybe that's not the thing, it's just to get to a certain realization, to let go completely. And if you can let go completely, some people call it enlightenment, some people call it nirvana, whatever. It's, again, without giving it any labels or anything like that, because that's the trap as well too. So psychedelics has been extremely important in my life. I've been able to go evolve, go through the steps, learn, experience more faster through psychedelics than through the meditation. But what I do is I back it up with meditation all the time. So I meditate basically twice a day, in the morning and at night, about an hour each time. I have fallen off of that wagon, and I sure as hell know when I do fall off that wagon, because I start shifting downward. But when I'm on it, I am up here. And as a matter of fact, there's more meditation that I want to include in my daily day-to-day practice. I used to go sometimes 10, 12 days of meditating, 12, 14 hours a day in silent meditation. I've done that a few times. I've been in ashrams and monasteries, and I have experienced this beautiful places where it's really, it sets the tone, and it's the environment for really heightening those experiences. But you can do this, you can meditate in your closet, you can meditate in your basement. You put your car in park, turn off the ignition, lock the doors, you can sit in the parking lot and meditate. You could do it in your driveway, you could do it anywhere. You can meditate throughout the day as you're walking and working, just through breath meditation, by focusing on your breath. And I'm going to speak about all this in some other videos as well too. But my experiences through psychedelics, I totally recommend you watch my last two videos on my channel. And I have ayahuasca videos as well too, you can look at. If you like this, what I'm talking about, you would like to hear more, please just like it, hit the button, subscribe, share this with anybody, would be very important as well too, because I think it's important now in these days and these times right now to have as many people share what they know, their wisdom about the experience of raising their consciousness, moving to higher levels of frequency and vibration, where we're above the clouds of the fear, where we're no longer trapped and controllable. We're up here, we are seeing the world from a beautiful, blissful place. Then we are adding to the collective beauty and peace and love of the planet. That is the only way that is going to change anything, because you cannot fight a fight with violence, because that's, or have a war against a war. It's like the war against drugs. It's not, it can't be a war. It's got to be love against whatever, or just love, period, spread out. So totally suggest, you start a meditation practice. I'm actually putting together a course for it, and all the steps from 101 basics, and just expressing and sharing everything that I know. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you start something, and most importantly is just live from your heart. Be skillful. Be skillful in what you think, skillful in what you say, skillful in what you put in your body, and just live from the heart. Thanks very much for watching. Peace and love.